This can bring you some really wonderful new energy coming in, passionate new beginnings, but be careful for impulsivity, okay? Because impulsivity can be a challenge with Aries, where you just do things impulsively and go, one life, YOLO, you only live once, let's do it. And then you're like, oh, you're crying in your soup. Welcome to the Story of Spirit podcast, where practical spirituality meets real life. Hi, I'm your host, She Tells Story. I'm a psychic medium, grief support counselor, professional astrologer, and a human design reader, and of course, a law of attraction master coach. With my unique blend of spiritual and practical tools, I am here to help you align with your soul-led purpose and ignite a life that sets your soul on fire. In this podcast, we are going to explore the principles of energy, astrology, spirituality, and psychology to help you heal your grief and create an aligned life and business from the inside out. Whether you are looking to deepen your intuition, understand your cosmic design, or transform your business, this podcast is for you. Join me each week for insightful discussions, practical tips, and inspiring stories that will guide you on your journey to living your very best life. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on Instagram at She Tells Story or wherever you listen to this podcast. Let's dive in and start this transformative journey together. Welcome to the Story of Spirit podcast. Welcome to the Astro forecast for the week of April 28th to May 4th. This is a big week in sort of, we call it mundane astrology, meaning the things that are happening around the world. That was only really one major thing that's happening around the world, but it's a big one. And this week is only 3 major aspects this week. So the energy is interesting and potent for beginnings. So we start out the week on a first quarter phase of the moon because we just came off that new moon in Taurus on Sunday. And this new moon brought about this energy of, what do we want to bring into the collective? It's a new beginning. So the moon is still in Taurus as we start out this week in the first quarter phase of the moon. This is a building energy. This is a wonderful time to now launch something new, start something in your life that is going to bring you, resources, wealth, things that you want to invest in long term, right? Think of sowing the seeds of something that's going to come to fruition months from now. And this is the long game. Taurus plays the long game. So we are in Taurus season with the sun in Taurus. Happy birthday to all the Taurus. And the moon is starting out in Taurus this week. So this is going to bring us in this grounded energy of like, what do we want to create with mindedness, with intention, with consciousness? Consciousness is mindedness. I just made that word up, I think. And we start out the week with this first quarter phase because on Monday, April 28th, there is an aspect that's in play that's going to make us a little anxious. It's the moon conjunct Uranus. It happens a little bit later in the afternoon, in the evening, but it is a time of the Canadian elections. This is a time when the future of Canada and how it relates to the US, especially because of all the changes that are happening in the US, is going to be solidified in some way. And if you've been watching politics, if you haven't been, no problem. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the energy of the astrology in this moment in time and where it's sort of pointing to. Now, do I know the outcome of this? No. And I also have my own bias, which I'll keep out of this podcast, this astrology. But what I'll say to you is there's a flavor coming on Wednesday for a new beginning. And it's a very potent beginning. So, whether it's the liberals, it's probably between the liberals and the political conservative, the PCs, the conservative party. They're sort of in the front runner, kind of they're vying for it. And the polls are saying, things, and who knows what that really is. The polls aren't reality. Voting is reality. So there could be, either way with a new, leader of the Liberal Party, Mark Carney. He is bringing about a new, I'm going to say era for the Liberal Party because he's not a politician. And then for the PCs, who is Pierre Poilievre, he is a career politician and he has never been prime minister, but he's been in the backbenches since he was in his 20s. 22, I think, is when he became a politician. I'm not sure. I think he's in his 40s now. So he's been a politician his whole life. So it's been interesting because of the Liberal government that's been in party for the last 8 years or so, there's been kind of, this happens from time to time. If there's a ruling party in government for more than 2 terms, what can happen is we get tired of that party. We're aching for something different, especially, the world has been changing. And a lot of the changes that have been put on the government are actually not the government, right? The Canadian dollar has lost value because of the political pressures from around the world, including the US's foreign policy has influenced the dollar. But yet, in the media, there's a huge spin of how the Liberals are responsible for it's terrible. There's a lot of misinformation out there. So it's going to be interesting because both parties have been promising things that are not easy to do or not even possible. There's been so many promises made from both parties that are really just not possible to do with the way that the world works, with the way law works, the way the Constitution works. And again, if you don't know anything about economy, the economics and political scheme of things, you can think that this is truth. So there's been a lot of spins, in the media. And with Mercury now direct and Venus now direct, there's truth going to come to light, which is going to be interesting. So regardless, there's going to be a little anxiety in the collective around the world as well, because the way the Canadians work with the U.S. and our border, our defensiveness with the Arctic, all the things that they were dealing with in terms of the politics with who's in power in the U.S. There's just a lot up in the air, and we're so intertwined. Our economies are intertwined, our different systems are intertwined with the US and Canada. So what's happening in Canada is really going to dictate our future. And the leader who's going to be elected and the party that's going to be elected is then going to have to learn to play ball with the Trump administration. So this is going to be a really interesting day, to witness, and then witness this Taurus energy of groundedness. Thank goodness we need it. But then also the moon coming to sit with Uranus during this day as well. And it's going to be a fast transit. It's not very long, a couple of hours, but there's still anxiety in the collective that can come up with this moon conjunct Uranus. So something to pay attention to. And then the energy is looking really good on the 29th, in terms of moon transits, and the moon will move into Gemini, which gives us more sort of thought processing our emotions through the mind, but also being curious and learning more about, seeking information that makes us safe. So there's going to be, Canada is a little divided right now as well. As I'm recording this, between the parties, it's pretty even. Interesting that it mimics the US in how it was also almost evenly divided there as well. So it can go either way. It really depends on the timelines, what we are ready for, and what the collective is going to buy into. So good things are coming on the 29th. We're going to be digesting information. People are going to be looking up things, seeing what now for them as well. And then our first major aspect of the week is Venus moving into Aries on the 30th, which is Wednesday. So this is a major turning point because now Venus is in a fire sign. But when Venus is in a 0 degrees of a fire sign, we can get fired up. It's the 0. It's like everything makes us fiery, or we get spicy about a lot of things. So this 0 degree mark of Aries can be very bold. It's very independent. It's fiery, passionate. It's confidence. It's direction of love and money. We want to get things done now. We are like, okay, no more waiting, which is again interesting when you think about this from the political lens, because now we've been in this limbo land for so long, and the government hasn't been enacting anything major because we've been waiting for this decidedly, this Canada to make its choice of who we want to lead us into the next 4 years. So now it's time to go. So we're feeling that kind of in the macro and in the micro, right? So in the collective, and of course this also goes for if you live in other countries around the world and you're listening to this, you might be noticing this feeling in your own country as well. But within, right, this Venus moving into Aries can make us, it's ready to go. It's like a beginning, right? It's the 0 degree mark of Aries is the spark of inspiration. It's initiation. So we want to start to go. So where in your life do you feel like it's a time for something new to come in? And where do you need to start taking initiatory man, the words are not coming to me today. Where do you need to initiate change in your life? That's where I want to go with that. So, this is an adventurous one. This can bring you some really wonderful new energy coming in, passionate new beginnings, but be careful for impulsivity, okay? Because impulsivity can be a challenge with Aries, where you just do things impulsively and go, one life, YOLO, you only live once. Let's do it. And then you're like, oh, you're crying in your soup. So just be very mindful. I think that Taurus energy is going to really help not make impulsive decisions, especially with money. It's still not a time to be making impulsive, when is it ever a really good time to make impulsive decisions? But this Venus in Aries, it's a time to go. We feel very passionate about starting new things, initiating projects, creative endeavors. Really good time for that. The next major aspect is on Friday, the 2nd of May now. And in the 2nd of May, we have Venus now coming to sit with Neptune at the 1st degree mark of Aries. So this is an initiation point. This is a dreamy alignment that blends love and creativity with fiery passion. You may feel inspired by love or swept up in idealistic visions. This can be very idealistic. Oh my gosh, I see the potential in this guy. He's so wonderful. Or I see the potential in this business offering, or this potential in this business collaboration. This energy makes things very idealistic and dreamy, right? Neptune can like put on the rose colored glasses, and we don't need that. This is wonderful energy for creativity, for expression, for writing, for telling stories. This is, well, Mercury, yes, Mercury is also in fire sign. So this is a beautiful time for spiritual connection, artistic expression, keeping one foot on the ground. Really be careful for illusions in love, impulsive choices, and idealizing someone. So if you're starting a relationship or the ex comes back into your life, it is not the time. This is not the time to make big money decisions. Neptune makes things look not real. Like you can't see the reality of it. So, not a time to move your money, not a time to make big relationship choices. I know I keep getting emails from people going, "When is the time?" It's coming. It's coming. Just not right now. This is not the time that you want to be making any big moves with your money. So, again, very romantic energy. This is a great time to go on a romantic date with your person that's been your person for a long time. This is wonderful energy because it's an Aries for female leadership. Women tapping into the divine feminine, which is our flow, our intuition, our nurturing, our emotional energy, and moving that into leadership qualities. Great time for that. And then on Sunday, May 4th, we've got Pluto going retrograde in Aquarius. Now, I know all of the memes out there, like everything's direct until May 4th. And, Pluto goes direct for really long periods of time. Okay. It's a very slow, most outermost planet that we look at in astrology. And it's in Aquarius. It's going to hang out there. It moves at most a few degrees in its retrograde. It's not something I personally am very sensitive to energy, and I don't notice when it goes retrograde. And I have a Scorpio rising, which Pluto rules in modern astrology. So I don't know. Is this a big deal? Yeah, I'm going to say no, not really. The effects of Pluto are cumulative. It is slow and steady, and it is the wrecking ball, right? It's death, rebirth, and transformation. So where I really notice Pluto is when it touches parts of my chart that are very charged, right? That are very sensitive. So is this a big deal? No, I'm going to say it's still green lights ahead. Keep moving forward. Hold on to your money for a little bit. And into next week, you're going to get more. When Mercury moves into Taurus on the 10th of May, a good time then to make big money decisions and moving your money around. The stock market should start to stabilize a little bit. I wouldn't put my word on that. And I'm not a CFP, certified financial planner. So please don't come for me on that one. But I personally would not move my money until like after the 10th. So with this Pluto retrograde in Aquarius on the 4th, deep inner transformation starts to begin. Like we haven't been having that all year. Let's be honest with some of this information. This retrograde invites you to reflect on your relationship with power, truth, and collective evolution. It's a time to review your inner landscape and release old programming. Here's what I'm going to say. And so Pluto is retrograde until October 13th now. and it's going to stay in Aquarius. So he's not retrograding back into Capricorn, thankfully. So this energy is helping us to really dig deep into like, who do we want to be in this time, in the universe, in this collective, in this history? Your soul came here at this time on purpose. Like, just think about the changing landscape of the collective, and you chose to be born during this time. This is a big time, right? I feel like there's no coincidence. Wow, I don't know. This is weird. There's no coincidence. The election's happening on Monday, and now Pluto's going retrograde in Aquarius. Aquarius is a humanitarian sign. It's an air sign of evolution, of technology, of being there for humanity. Humanity being there for each other. Right? This isn't about me energy. This is about we energy. So when Pluto goes retrograde in Aquarius, this is like, where are we failing each other? Where are we not following through with being there for humanity? I mean, we are seeing atrocities still happening in Gaza. We are still seeing things that are very disconcerting in the African continent, of coups and military and people dying and senselessly being brutalized. This is still going on around the world in 2025. Like, we really thought, I think, in movies that we'd be so much more evolved as a collective in our humanity. And it can be very easy to feel, and I've been feeling this myself, feeling very helpless in the grand scheme of things, especially all the babies that are just helpless and are being targeted as collateral damage, is what they say. And this Pluto is coming in here to say, what can we do better? How can we do better? And I think one of the things I've been noticing with all this destabilizing energy is what's rising to the surface. How are we banding together and finding a way? I really noticed during like a Hurricane Katrina and any kind of natural disaster that happens is that sometimes the military and the governments cannot mobilize fast enough. And so what happens is humanity has to come together. Humanity has to help each other. Neighbors are checking on each other. They're sharing food in the block. They're sharing water. They're sharing power banks and trying to make sure that everybody has. That is the power of Aquarius. That is the energy of Aquarius, so that we all may have, right? And some people call that socialism. I would say it's like the bare minimum that we all must go together. Yes, some people can have more, but if the bottom people that don't have any, then what are we doing here as a society? Like, why do so many have so much more when people have nothing? Like, we should at least guarantee a minimum standard of like income, of living, of the ability to have a house, have food on the table, have electricity. Like, these are the bare minimums that everyone should have now. It's no longer like eat or be eaten. We don't live in that kind of world now. We've evolved to have comfort, and we're not just trying to survive anymore. And so if there are people in this world, in our countries, that are just fighting to survive, then humanity is broken, right? So Pluto is coming in now to sort of say, hey, there's things here that are more important than just the richest 5% getting richer and richer every day. Like, how do we redistribute the wealth? How do we take care of each other? So notice this coming into the collective, right? Yeah, it's such a light time, to be alive. I know that it's not. And this is a time to shore up our supports for ourselves, right? This is that Taurus energy coming in of making sure you have safety, and then also looking around and see where could you share? Where could you help someone else? This Pluto energy is coming in. Now, it's very subtle, but it's going to continue to build. And it's not subtle in this moment because it's retrograde, stationary retrograde, but it's been sitting on the same degree of Aquarius for a little while. So, is it intense? Yeah. I think it's been intense because it just moved into Aquarius last year, at the end of last year. So we're still getting used to this energy. It's new to us, and it is so needed now. You're here on purpose at this time to help humanity rise, to help the collective rise. But first, you have to find your own gift and talents. You have to understand what's your contribution going to be that still makes you feel safe in your family, for your future too. And that's what this is all about. So I hope you use the weather report to support you in your forward momentum. This is not, energy that you are at the mercy of. You get to flow with it. You get to use this energy to be the wise creator of your life. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Please leave me a review and tell me what you really love about this podcast so I can give you more of that, because I love feedback, and it's information to me, and I just absolutely love information. And we rise together. I truly believe that. So thank you for your support and for listening, and I will see you next week. Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Story of Spirit podcast. I hope you have found inspiration, support, and practical insights to help you align with your soul-led purpose and live a life that sets your soul on fire. If you have enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to the podcast, leave a review, and share it with a friend. Your support helps us to reach more listeners and continues to provide valuable content. I sincerely appreciate every share, and I know it is how most people find me. It is because caring people like you have shared me with them at the right and perfect time. For more resources, insights, and to connect with our community, please visit us at www.shetellstory.com and follow us on Instagram at shetellstory. Remember, your journey to a more aligned and vibrant life is just the beginning, and I am here to support you every step of the way. Until next time, stay aligned, stay inspired, and keep shining your beautiful light. This is Shetell Story, signing off from the Story of Spirit podcast. Here's the legalese that's required by our lawyers. This podcast and the YouTube channel represents the opinions of Shetell Story and her guests to the show. The content should not be taken as medical, psychological, or financial advice. This series is informational and entertainment purposes only. Because each person is so unique, please consult your healthcare professional, your mental health dream team, your financial advisor, or anyone else that's an expert in the field in where you are thinking of making big choices in your life.